So I found the thing that turns the Snode 8080 dumbbells from a really good dumbbell to the absolute best dumbbell on the market. And that's the 2.5 pound from M-Plate. Hey crew, Coach Josh here with GarageGameGyms.com, and there is a problem. The Snode 8080 dumbbells, as you may know, and it might be holding you back from buying the best dumbbells on the market, only go up by 10-pound increments. And the only solutions out there right now are putting 1.25 pound plates on, and trust me, it takes ages, and I'll be showing you that in a little bit. But finally, there is a company out there that makes a 2.5 pound plate, the M-Plate. So we'll be talking about the pros of these plates, the cons of these plates, how they compare to other products in the market, and even my own prototype that I did beat them on 2 things on. We'll talk about that in a second. But I do have to say, I bought these with my own money first. Then they decided to refund my money, and now I'm an affiliate. But I genuinely think this is the coolest, craziest thing ever. And what's cool is M-Plate also makes solutions for the Bowflex Select Tech dumbbells, as well as the Newell dumbbells. And in my opinion, it is a better solution than even Microgainz has for theirs. And they're working on a solution for their Rep Pep-In dumbbells, because nobody likes to stick their hand in a dumbbell, come out with a bloody hand because that pop pin cut you. Now, with that said, I am now an affiliate of M-Plate. But regardless of if you buy from them, I want you to know about this product. Now, if you use my link in the description, you are gonna save 10% on the M-Plate, and the discount code is JOSH10. Now, that being said, if you go through that and use my discount code, I will receive a commission. So let's talk about these plates. Okay, so let's talk about the problem that the 8080s have and why the M-Plate is the best solution. So the problem is, like I said, 5-pound increments. It's a no-go with the Snode dumbbells. Now, I recommend to you, even if you buy the M-Plates, when you're buying the Snode dumbbells, to also get these 1.25s, and we'll talk about that in a second. But Snode has the 1.25 pound solution. Microgainz has a 1.25 pound solution too, which fine. And then there are other companies that end up putting maybe even a 2.5 pound plate on the end. And all of those are fine, but they all have their problems, and we'll talk about that here. So the first problem with the 1.25s, there's frickin' 4 of them. And if you're like me, personal trainer working with clients, if I'm handing you 25-pound dumbbells, I gotta put 8 of these things on. And I have to take 8 of them off if we wanna go, say, to 30 pounds. So let's just see how big of a pain in the ass that is first, okay? So there's one. So again, I would be talking to my client, maybe cracking some stupid jokes, whatever it is. And we got them on, okay, they're using them, okay, great. Hey, let's do a superset. Let's take those weights off. And you can just see, this is a pain. Now, if you're wanting, instead of 10, which is what I was using, making them 15s, if you want 11 pounds, 12.5 pounds, 13, 7.5, or the coveted 17, which we'll get back to in a second, you do need to use these little guys, okay? But with the M-Plates, let's check this out. Because there's only 2 of them instead of 4, it just slots in right into the middle, and it magnetizes in just like the other ones do as well, right? So now we're talking, I have a 15. And then if I need to make it lighter, you just pull it off and put it right back on the rack. Pull it off, put it right back on the rack. So again, it saves me time, especially if we're doing supersets, okay? What a pain. And then those nodes too, I was even using them incorrectly. Technically what you're supposed to do is take them off, put them on the end and things like that. That's at least what Snode wants you to do, and what other companies want you to do with their 2.5 pound solutions. Is take the dumbbell out of the cradle, put it on the edge. The problem with that is, okay, now what? So you have the 2, you're doing bicep curls, whatever you're doing. Oh, set them on the floor while they roll away from you, right? Go chase them down. Grab the plates off, okay, put them on the rack, okay, boop, boop, boop. Now put the 1 dumbbell in, okay, wait, grab the other one, take the stupid, putting it on the ends like that. So again, I already had been using my Snodes incorrectly by putting them on the inside. Also, another reason I'm showing you that, and I'll flash you up a picture right now, is that's how Microgainz does it. Now, just like with Microgainz, because they're putting them on the inside, they're just simply putting a magnet onto the dumbbell. And if you can see that, just like the Microgainz picture I showed you, some of the magnet sticks out, the fit and finish just isn't quite right. Now the tabs here are a little bit wider than the Microgainz, but the Microgainz tab being a little bit sharper, Imagine doing shoulder presses with that sharp tab. Now you can certainly move them and it'll scratch your neck, it'll do all kinds of things. But as you're bringing it down, if that tab hits you, or you're doing rows and that tab hits you, it scrapes your side, what a pain, right? What a pain, and you have to deal with 4 of them, okay? And again, with the M plates, because I can just slip them in there. Now, actually, I'll show you one up close before I put this one in. So the genius of Matt, okay? So I've never actually met Matt, but I know his name is Matt. What he figured out is a way to put a slot on these plates, the circle, right? Because the way that the plate is set up, and I'll show you that, is, you'll see it better this way, hello, is we got the round insert here, if you can see where my finger is there, that's better, and then these slots in here. So when I put this in, awkwardly, because I'm standing here, okay, you can see how it slots in. So not only did we lose half the thickness, right? Because Microgainz or Snode, they have to make that extra weight because it just simply attaches on. And I'll show you my prototype in a second so you get a better visual. But this slots in, so it's way more secure. And if I am abusive and drop it to my shoulder, not only does it stay, but I'm clanging my shoulder real good. It's got rounded edges, it's plastic, it doesn't hurt. Those tabs are gonna dig into you. Those Snode plates are just gonna fall right off. These, because it's inside and slotted in, nope, okay? So, talking prototype. Let me grab that. Just so you can see what I was getting at and how it's going to be a problem. So this is my solution, okay? Very similar to the Microgainz, except Microgainz had 4 plates, I only had 2, right? It's just a piece of metal with a magnet that attaches, okay? I literally spent weeks getting this made out in Turkey. They sent them to me. 2 days after they get delivered, of course, is when I heard about M plates, right? But anyway, these tabs, they catch you, okay? Because Microgainz is gonna be very similar, because you would put 2 on there, if you're doing a goblet position or anything like that, these flaps are gonna be digging into your hand, or you put some space between them. Now you got this awkward, maybe it's perfectly balanced, maybe it's not, because one plate's this way, one plate's that way, it's a pain. And for my clients and I, the last thing I want them to even ever consider is there's something wrong with the equipment. Nothing screams, this guy can't be trusted, like they pick up a weight and it's a little bit unbalanced and they say, this is weird, and they feel unsafe, right? So again, the 4-plate solution just isn't the great thing. Now, with the M plates, like I said, it goes lower. You don't have to worry about that goblet position. It's perfectly balanced, and there's only one spot it can go. My iteration, the Microgainz, it can go this way, that way, this way, that way, this way. How do you know if it's balanced, right? Now, I have a tendency sometimes to say put, if you can see this, to say put one here, one there, and have it a little bit off balance if I'm doing a 2.5 iteration, and you still can do that. With the M plates, you could certainly just take one off, and then it's just the 2.5 is a little bit forward. And I used to do that all the time. It's really not a big deal. It's still solid, it's still fine. And it's kind of nice if you're doing bicep curls or tricep kickbacks to put the weight on one side. If you are doing shoulder presses that way, I do recommend putting the weight toward the shoulder, not away from, just so you get a little bit better leverage if that's what you decide to do. But now I get to talk about why my prototype is better, just a little bit in just a couple regards. So fit and finish of the M plates, so much better. Matt, I'm just ribbing you for this. So much better. They're covered in a plastic or something like that. They're very smooth, they're very nice. They look way better. Mine has chipped paint and all this stuff. It sits off, it looks like a frog. It fixed the problem. But here's my I gotcha, is first thing, if you're buying these M plates, I highly recommend you buy the rack attachment. Okay, first of all, it's really cool. It's another engineering marvel. He put some texture on it. It sits in your rack. There's a little magnet here. It sticks to your rack, and then you can set the weights in there. Very cool. But with my prototype, it's unnecessary. And again, I'm just talking trash here, because mine, for how clunky it is, the magnets will just stick it to the rack, okay? His will not stick to the rack. In fact, another negative is these plates are not magnetic in and of themselves. So where my prototype, I can just slap another weight onto the magnet itself or the metal itself. These are not very metallic, right? So I wouldn't ever put a plate on these because it's just not. But, you know, I don't have a problem because I can put one on the side and it's just fine, okay? It's just me being funny and nitpicky. Now, that being said, even Microgainz, they have their two-part solution and they hold it together with rivets. Those rivets are magnetic. They also add a gap between plates. So if you think you're gonna stack two plates on, chances are they won't look nice. They're gonna kind of crisscross because those Microgainz are gonna have two magnets on one side, one on the other, two rivets, and one is going to win, okay? Now, they are magnetic, so you could put this on, but we're talking a round surface for a flat magnet. Again, that plate is gonna go like this and not a whole lot of contact area, and you're gonna have a problem of if you're doing something aggressive, that plate is that node is just gonna fall off, which by rights, if you put this on here, even though it's slightly magnetic, if I go nuts, it will fall off. But in all reality, if you're gonna be using, you know, any of these solutions, except with the M plates. So when the M plates are on and you're say at 15 pounds, 25 pounds, no problems in the world. So let's just go fun. Let's go 45 pound dumbbell snatches, right? So just for fun, hopefully the mic doesn't fly out. But if I yank this over my head or rack it to my shoulder and press it, I don't have to worry about those M plates moving at all because they insert into the plates. The M plates are definitely better in that regard than the Microgainz or even the Snode ones that come with it because, again, magnet on the metal, if you're aggressive enough, it could come off, especially in both cases, the Microgainz or even my iteration. All you're doing is you're putting that magnet, here, let's just take this out, on just a small ridge, right? So we're talking, I don't know, a little over a ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch that the magnet can actually stick to. M plate inserts and sticks too. So again, security-wise as a trainer, the only way forward. Now, yes, mine are magnetic, but there's a problem. If mine were the same shape as M plates, it might be better, but here's the problem. Yeah, I can put a magnet on there. But you know what it also can do? Is if I pull it just right, look at that. It just pulled the 2.5 with it. That's not safe, that's going on your foot. So again, the M plate is still far superior. I just think it's fun that I can pick on them a little bit. And when it comes to using the coveted 17.5, the 27.5, as a trainer, you know these weights are so important. If 15 pounds is kind of easy for a 12 and you want to up the weight a little bit, but 20 is just far too much for a bicep curl, tricep kickback, shoulder press, chest fly, whatever it is, depending upon your client, male, female, young or old. 17.5, 27.5, by far the most used weights in the gym in order to get you stronger, okay? It's so hard to go from 15 to 20. It's so hard to go from 25 to 30. After 30, for some reason, I don't really use 37s. I don't really use 47s because 40 to 45, that jump isn't 20% or more, right? So when you're using 17.5, what are you doing? Triceps, shoulder presses, bicep curls, upright rows, flies, one arm rows, two arm bent over rows, all these things, right? Slower moving exercises, okay? You're not doing dumbbell snatches with 17.5 pounds. You're using 15 or 20. You're not doing heavy clean and press or, you know, throwing the weights around with that kind of weight. The most jarring exercise you might do is being in plank and doing rows, but there's just not that much going on that you have to ever worry about the nodes falling off. But if the plates were more magnetic, you'd be even more safe. Now, the reason I say that is because, let's kick this back. And again, it's cool, I can turn the dial. Mine, here. Let's put these on. My iteration, I mean, I can force the dial, but it's just not the same. Again, M plates is so much better. But if it were a little more magnetic, when you're doing that row, and let's say I hit this, it can slide, right? You can see that it's just sliding. Well, again, I can put it on the side and it's very strong. And unless I'm slamming that dumbbell into the ground, this isn't going anywhere. But if I start to go a little bit more aggressive, it will start to slide on me. Magnet's strong enough, it sticks to the cast iron, it's totally fine, it's totally safe. And again, you should not be doing dumbbell cleans, dumbbell snatches with 17.5. Pick a 5 pound increment, the M plates makes it perfect, okay? And again, The only reason mine has any edge on him at all is, again, I don't have to pay an additional money to put something on my rack, even though it does look really cool, okay? I have to admit, the rack here, if I can get you guys a good angle on this, come on. If I can get you guys a good angle on this, looks pretty sick, right? It's sitting in here. In fact, my clients, when they see this, they're gonna think this is incredible. They slide a little bit so you can get them OCD perfect like I like them. But again, the M plates are the solution, and in fact, make these dumbbells the best on the market. Okay, now I love doing this with plates, with dumbbells, with everything. If you haven't seen the Snode 8080 review, I talk about the handles weighing a certain amount at 10 pounds, at 50, at 80. I even talk about their 1.25 pound nodes and what they are on average. So again, I'll do the same thing for the M plates, because again, I think you guys need to know. So here are the 4 pictures of each of the plates individually, and there's a range of about 1 ounce difference from the heaviest plate to the lightest plate. But just so you guys get the full review, again, even though I'm an affiliate of this, I want you guys still to make an informed decision. That's really important to me. And when I'm trying to buy stuff out there, it angers me so much that people are unwilling to say the nasty things, right? Not that this is nasty by any means, but they are paid to tell you all the good things. And you know what? If I don't get my commission on this, I don't care, okay? So the lightest of the plates, again, they're rated for 2.5 pounds, was 2 pounds, 0.4375. So 0.4375, it is off. It's off by about an ounce because it was 2 pounds and 7 ounces. 2 pounds and 8 ounces is 2.5 pounds. That's the lightest one. The heaviest one is 2.518 pounds. And if I'm not mistaken, I can't just remember these off the top of my head, but it was 2 pounds, 8.1 or 2 ounces, right? So just shy over. On average, between the 4 plates, we were 2.486 pounds. 0.14 off of 2.5. That's how close these are, okay? And again, when you put all 4 of them together, it's 9 pounds, 15.1 ounce. So again, in the grand scheme of things, what's an ounce? In fact, the dumbbells, the 8080 dumbbells, at the rated 80 pounds, it was either 78 pounds for one of them or 78.7. They were off by almost 2 pounds on both of them. We're talking maybe an ounce on these. Again, that's just the skew of, oh, this steel had a little bit of this more, or a little bit of that less, or maybe there's a bubble in it here, or the magnet, or, I mean, it's so close, it's crazy. In fact, I also, just for fun, took my Rogue plates off the wall that are 2.5. One of them was 2.48125, and one was 2.475 for an average of 2.478. Even those guys are a little off, because it's 2.5-ish. Okay, so there you have it, crew. M plates 2.5 pound solution, I genuinely think make the 8080 Snode dumbbells the best on the market. If you guys want to see my review on those dumbbells and exactly why I think that with these plates, please, there's a video in the playlist you guys can see in my reviews. It's probably just before this video anyway with how I release it. If you guys have any questions about these, please let me know. If you guys need to reach out because you're like, oh, does it do this? You know, whatever. I will certainly help you with that. Keep in mind, if you use my affiliate link, you will, again, get a 10% discount, right, with Josh10 discount code. I do get a commission on that, but again, I genuinely think these are the best solution for Snode's problem. And it means that Snode, if they would just buy these and put them in the box for you, they don't need to redo anything, okay? I do still recommend you get those 1.25s because there are still some use cases where you want 1.25 pounds if you're doing core or something like that. Or if you're a little bit weaker trying to get stronger, that 1 pound jump can make a difference, especially if you're looking for that 17.5 and 27 pound, that coveted weight. It's really important. And again, please get the rack attachment for it, make it one piece for your rack, or you can certainly save the 30 bucks and keep them in your dumbbells at night. You can certainly do that. And if you guys are seeing this video and you aren't buying the Snodes, but you decide you want to buy the Dumbbells, if you guys want to buy 1.25s for Select Tech dumbbells, which I kind of wish I knew about, or if you're thinking about buying the Rep Pepin dumbbells and you're like, I hate the idea of that pop pin, again, Matt at M Plate is designing, he has a prototype out there on his Instagram if you want to see it. He is designing a fix for that dumb pop pin idea where it really cuts your hand and it makes the handle smaller. So again, you can use my discount code for all of those. It's not just for the Snodes. I'm doing this video with the Snodes because those are the dumbbells I have. And again, I think they're the best dumbbell out there because of the end plates. This is Coach Josh with GarageGangGyms.com, and I'll see you guys next time.